like, okay, maybe I'm just being harsh. Or maybe the pledge was created by a billionaire who would rather go to space than pay his workers. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kitty Mary and today I'm going to be reacting to some greenwashing. I've made a couple of these videos before, including one that explains a little bit about greenwashing and different types of greenwashing and how to be aware of them and how to avoid them, etc. So feel free to find those videos, they are down below. I have some different examples sent to me by you guys, so thank you so much for contributing to this video. We are going to be needing a whole lot of patience to get through. Honestly, it wouldn't really surprise me if all you want to do after watching this video is go live in the woods somewhere far away. And you know what? Today's sponsor can actually help you with that. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, and if you don't know Skillshare, I don't know where you've been. Literally. It's an online community with thousands of different courses. There are literally so many different things you can learn, including how to become self-sufficient, grow your own garden, so you don't have to go into the shops ever again. Goals. This specific course I think is super motivating and inspirational. I don't even have a garden and I absolutely love watching other people's garden videos, and this is really inspirational and a good way to get started if you do have a garden. Also, there is a free trial, so if you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description, you'll get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. What? And yeah, like, use it to just completely go off grid, because that's honestly all I want at this point. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into the greenwashing. First of all, we have these Palmolive eco refill bags. And the first thing that I think about when I see products like this is that it's the very classic, we have to do something to make a visible change so consumers can see that we've changed, but we're not gonna change a whole lot. So it is true that less plastic is more sustainable than more plastic. So far, so good. It's also a really good idea to reuse containers over and over rather than buying new soap containers or any other type of container again and again. So therefore, a refill option is definitely better. I would, however, love to see these bigger companies offer different types of refill stations where you can use your container and you don't have to carry it in a disposable container back and forth. This would be a great thing. Like, it would literally be the easiest thing in the world. From a more cynical perspective, it would also be great publicity. They don't even have to roll it out worldwide, but simply doing it some places would just be absolutely amazing to see. And it would be great publicity for them as well, if we're being a little bit cynical about it. But they didn't do that. Hey! It's very much a taking the first tiny step in a right direction and then going, this is eco, you know? Did you know? Hey, this is eco. Did you know that this is eco? Also, I haven't been able to find anything about the material of the packaging, and it doesn't say anything on the packaging specifically. So what I'm thinking is that it's also just normal virgin plastic. So another great step, if they were to think in these eco directions, would possibly be to use recycled materials as a bare minimum, you know. It's always, please recycle this, and never, this has been recycled. Girl, why you do this to me? Then of course there's also the notion of sustainable ingredients, because packaging actually only accounts for a very small part of a product's overall impact, and the actual product accounts for a whole lot more. So it would be great to see more innovation in terms of material sourcing, but that's not as sexy as new packaging, I know, but honestly that's where we need to go as well. So our first one was a tiny little, you know, cute thing that we can all relate to and talk about, and you know, like, it's very physical. The next one is going to be a little bit more because so many of you guys have tagged me in content from the climate pledge, so I guess we do have to talk about that, and it's gonna be a longer explanation, and while we go through it I might lose my will to exist, so like, okay. This is a pledge that asks companies and organizations to achieve or to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement 10 years early in 2040. And that sounds pretty great. They are including some regulation into the pledge. So if you do take the pledge, you will have to be monitored, which seems great. Then there's something about decarbonizing internally in companies. So using renewable energy, material efficiency, that kind of stuff. And then the impact that is coming out of these companies will be carbon offset. That seems to be like the 3 major stepping points of the pledge. And if you want to know more about carbon offsetting, I also have a video about that, because that's a whole lot more complicated than it might seem. So go and watch that video if you want to know more about the impact and how much it helps and like how efficient it is. In September 2019, Amazon joined the pledge because they created the pledge. It is co-endorsed, or like endorsed and co-founded, by Jeff Bezos, our all-time favorite guy. And ever since then, a lot of companies have joined. I think it's about 150 companies, a lot of them being airline companies. Then we have PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Unilever, I think, is on there as well. There are tons of really big companies and some smaller ones that I don't know, but the majority of them are consumer related. I tried to look on the website to see if I could find like, okay, but what did this pledge then uncover or achieve? Because as it says, there's regular regulation and monitoring, so like there must be some feedback to be found when they go out to check out how these companies are doing. But there's literally no information, or like there's no transparent feedback. There's only a description of what the company is. And I hope that I'm wrong and I'm just a cynical girl on YouTube. I have just not been able to find any feedback or any this is how it's going, or these are the goals that were achieved, or these are the goals they're working on right now. You know, all the stuff that sort of implies actual work is done. This makes me think that this is just a little bit of a badge that they can put on and say, hey, look what we're doing 10 years early. Whoopah! Jeff, do you mind sharing any small bit of information? That would be really helpful, thank you. I don't know, it seems a little bit hollow to preach net zero by 2040 when you literally go to space for fun, creating 57 tons of CO2 in 10 minutes. Now next we have a razor company called Estrid. They make these Scandinavian design inspired razors, and I was tagged in their commercials quite a few times by you guys, because in their commercials, like in their ads on Facebook and on Instagram, they spend quite a lot of time focusing on the eco aspect, and they are referring to the sustainability of their product quite a few times, so let's see how that holds up. What this company has going for it is definitely its aesthetic. It knows its audience, pastel colors, slick design. They're also advertising that 100% of their product is vegan, telling us quite a few times on their website. And I know there might be animal-derived ingredients in the razor strip on some other razors, but they're using quite a lot of time to tell us that this razor is vegan, and also that there's no pink tax. And I do like the fact that we talk about pink tax, but honestly I feel like this is something that's a little bit more relevant when we see companies that both have products for men and for women, and then the men's version is cheaper than the women's version. If you have a company that only makes one product, I feel like advertising that there's no pink tax is a little bit free for you because you don't make gendered products for specific genders, you know. Anyway, it's still nice that we talk about it and we normalize the discourse of pink tax being a thing. So yeah, okay. Then I can see that the product's main component, the handle, is made from stainless steel that I guess is then colored in these pastel colors. And then there is a detachable razor head, which seems to be made from plastic. It seems that the core of the company is that they sell these detachable heads that you can then put on your one handle, and then you don't have to switch out the entire blade, like the entire razor. However, this is not a new concept per se. This is also something that Gillette and Venus and all the more conventional brands are doing and have been doing for ages. Of course, it's better than throwing the entire razor away, but this is not per se something I would describe as new or innovative in terms of sustainable razors. It's not the worst thing that I have ever seen in the world, but it could definitely also be better. Then this is my favorite thing, you guys, in the world. It's been on my desktop for ages. I just screenshot the ad super quickly, so I had it forever. This is a good example of how you can use a word or like a term, and you can describe a movement without understanding it even a little bit. There is this company, I haven't actually, and perhaps that's like bad research on my part, but I haven't actually looked into the company a whole lot because I just really want to focus on the wording of this ad. So this is a company that makes clothing for kids, and they are having a zero waste sale. Yeah, okay, so if zero waste were like a core value in your company, would you use it in a sales pitch? or like as a sales catchphrase? I don't think you would. I feel like if zero waste is a core value of yours, you wouldn't be in the situation where you would have to have these big sales, because usually these big sales come from the notion that too much clothes had been bought in the first place and now they can't really move it anymore, or they can't sell it. And this is a worse option, honestly, for me. They're using the term zero waste to appeal to eco-conscious consumers, saying this is a zero waste sale. So when everything has been sold, we as a company are then zero waste because we don't have to throw any clothing away. That's putting a lot of responsibility onto the consumer, when in reality, you're not managing your business very well. The zero waste term actually came from like the industrial world first. So it originally described a production method in which nothing was wasted. And then over time, it moved into a more consumer-focused movement, which is where we are now. And I would love to see accountability for companies. I would love to see that they're sort of reclaiming the term and showing us that in their production, there's not going to be any waste. But the way of doing it is not by making a zero waste sale. Do you see how you just skipped a few steps there? We started out using terminology like green sale, eco sale. I don't know, I've seen those around for years. But now zero waste as a term is starting to gain some mainstream momentum, and as a result, companies that wouldn't normally have used that term are starting to pick it up because that they see there is a good consumer response to using that, and then it's, you know, being misused, being put into context where it doesn't necessarily belong, and where it just becomes like a trendy buzzword. I am not into that whatsoever. As an environmentalist, I can just say I would never ever in a million years buy something from a sale that was advertised as a zero waste sale. I would stay away. Wouldn't you also be suspicious? Wouldn't you also be, okay, so they're using it wrong? So honestly, I think they're doing themselves a huge disservice in terms of using zero waste sale as something. I don't know. This was really funny to me, and I hope to see more of this bullshit in the future. I have also seen this picture circling the web quite a few times. It is an H&M shopping bag that's then turned into a hanger. First, it seemed like a lot of articles were using it to sort of show that this is something that H&M themselves are doing, but it seems like it's a designer that's been making this piece for H&M, but I haven't been able to find any indication that H&M is in on the project, or it's something that they're gonna roll out to consumers. It is a nice way of using something that would otherwise not have been used multiple times. To my knowledge, most of H&M's bags though are plastic. And you know, honestly, thank God H&M is not in on this too, because then I would have to drag them in this video too, and they've been in every other of my videos, because what they keep doing is absolutely horrifying in terms of greenwashing and misleading consumers. It's something that is great to do as a consumer, I feel like, talking about how to repurpose things like this. However, I would again like to point towards the fact that the shopping bag accounts for a tiny part of the impact of a product, especially if that product is unethically sourced and manufactured, produced in sweatshops where people haven't been paid, where there's no waste management systems to speak of, and where wastewater is just flushed out into people's freshwater supply. Innovation. Then there is Royale, I think it is a Canadian tissue napkin toilet paper brand. In the last video we talked about toilet paper as well, so we'll just keep going. It seems that Royale is introducing a paper packaging instead of a plastic packaging. That I do like to see. I remember when I started zero waste, it was one of the most difficult things to find back then. There were basically no services or brands available to me where the toilet paper didn't come in plastic. I ended up using like an industrial service, you know, these kind of suppliers that supply toilet paper for schools and office buildings and stuff like that. That worked out fine. Now there are tons of other options, and you know, like the bidet as well. Yeehaw. I do like to see that we opt the packaging. This could be a really cool standard thing, but there's no pleasing me. I looked at their website for a little while, and this is once again, and I wish these companies, when they change their packaging, which is a nice step, also looked into their product just a tiny bit because I couldn't find any information about bleach and bleach derived ingredients in their tissue paper, in their napkins or in their toilet paper. Which means to me that they probably use bleach, because companies that don't, they will tell consumers because using bleach is the conventional way of doing it. They're also kind of proudly, advertising that all their tissues, all their napkins and all their toilet paper is made with virgin fibers, and there's no recycled fibers anywhere, only on the roll of the toilet paper, like the roll we're not using, that part is recycled. And they're doing that because using recycled paper would reduce softness, and we don't want to compromise the quality of the product. I don't know where they get this. I have tried tons of toilet paper that's been plenty soft and made from recycled fibers, so I really don't know what this is about. I like that we changed the packaging. I would love to see some innovation within the material of the product, within the sourcing of the material as well. Okay. And lastly, we have Always their new organic top sheet pads that I just think I wanted to talk about for a second. When it comes to disposable menstrual products, they are plenty more polluting than using a reusable alternative, of course. And there can be different reasons as to why one alternative doesn't really work for you, but luckily there are plenty of different options. So if you want to look into it, I have both guides and I was about to say tutorials, but that's not really the case, more like reviews on both menstrual cups, menstrual underwear and cotton pads as well that you can reuse. These cotton pads, the reason why they're included in the greenwashing video is because that they are now advertising that they are using an organic layer of cotton in the top sheet. However, and they're not making a lot of sustainability claims here, honestly, they're just using a lot of indirect greenwashing in terms of symbols that they're using, like leaves, and the color that they're using, like green, stuff like that, that could imply sustainability, but they're not promising you anything really. There can be some health aspects here that they might be promising in terms of using non-pesticide, like pesticide-free organic cotton on your skin, and especially in these areas might be more healthy for you. I don't actually know if the bottom layers of the pad affects your health. So like, you tell me if that's the case. However, when you are using organic cotton, why not use it in the entire product? Because you can't. Aha! Most disposable pads are actually made with a blend of natural materials and synthetic materials. So there's plastic in it, there are different kinds of synthetic component that means that usually pads like these, they cannot be composted, they cannot biodegrade because there's actually plastic in them. But there are also different layers of cotton in the pad, and it seems like they're doing this primarily for the health of people, because it's only the top layer. Why not do it in the entire thing? I don't know. It's a little bit far-fetched. I don't know. This is just a very good for you, I guess. However, something that I am excited to see, I've talked about period products on this platform for ages at this point, and one of the things I've said continuously has been that a lot of these major brands like Libras, Always, I cannot remember other names, they are staying on course with their disposable products, because getting consumers to continuously buy products over and over again because it's disposable is going to turn a bigger profit than selling reusables, because then the consumers will only buy a very limited amount of products. However, Libras just launched a pair of menstrual underwear, and I'm excited to see it. I really am. It's bonkers more sustainable to use a reusable product in this regard than using a disposable product. So that is a really good step in the right direction. Do I know where it's produced? Is it produced sustainably and ethically? I really do have my doubts. I've just seen them talking about them launching, and I think that's pretty darn neat. Then we will need to talk about the material sourcing, if people got paid properly to make this. And there I do have my doubts, honestly. But I stand corrected. It's cool to see that these companies are looking in terms of reusable alternatives rather than disposable. I do like to see that. Anyway, this was my reactions to these greenwashing posts that you sent me. Thank you so much for engaging with this content, and thank you for watching this video. That really made my day. If you liked it, leave it a thumbs up. Also, like, if you didn't like it, like, I don't care, leave a thumbs up anyway. I don't know what this energy is. I'm filming on a Monday morning, so that's probably what that is. Also, a big big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Again, check out the links down below. Please feel free to subscribe, that would make my day, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Take really good care of yourselves. Until then, bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green zero waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!